Greetings and welcome to another edition of Build Through Broadcast with the coaches of the Emerald Green Collective. I'm your co-host, Coach Shantae, and with us we have Coach Latoya, and we may have a couple of other coaches come on the scene with us as we are talking. And today's subject is World Digestive Health Day, which is Monday, but we're coming to you live on Friday. So stay tuned, tune in, and get some of this knowledge. This was supposed to be seamless, so we're going to pretend like it is. Just a moment. Not sure why it's not going. Okay, I think I'm. Why did it just let me do it now? It's not. I tell you what, we'll try it one more time. One more time. All right. So once again, here we are on our Friday Built Through broadcast session, and it is good to be back with you all live. Today, we're going to be talking about digestive health. And digestive health is a subject that is really close to the heart for me. I'm going to share a little bit more about my digestive health journey in just a little bit. But before we go any further, I just want to open the floor to Coach Latoya to kick us off. Tell us a little bit about digestive health. What is it? Why does it matter? And what are some things that people can do to support their digestive system and digestive health?
Yes, greetings everyone. So your digestive health is extremely important because it's like a brain, and it's the gut and brain connection. So the food that you put into your body is extremely important to, of course, your gut health, and it is important to make sure that you're eating whole foods. I'm not going to sit here and because I know everybody's not going to want to release flesh. So it's not that, but just being more mindful of the food you eat, where is it coming from, and be mindful of looking into your labels, reading your labels. That's extremely important. Understanding exactly where your food is coming from, getting more familiar with the farmer's market or with co-ops or with growing your own food if you can. Those kind of things are extremely important. Also, a big thing is food combinations. Being mindful of how you combine your food is extremely important also, because I have heard countless times of people not sure exactly what's going on with them. The doctors are telling them they're okay, their tests coming back fine, but they're not able to handle a lot of different types of food. So it's just really looking into it, and also understanding that there's different types of modalities that you can use to nurture your gut, not only just the physical aspects, because it may be something even deeper than that. It may be something energetic, so there's so many levels to the digestive health.
Give thanks for that share, because that is definitely great information to have. Our minds, bodies, and spirits are interconnected. And there was a book that was recommended to me that speaks more to that and kind of goes into great detail, called The Body Keeps the Score. And it talks about how the things that we experience in our reality influence our psychology, which is our mind, that manifests into things in our spirit, which then manifests into issues within our bodies. So there are so many different things, like Coach Latoya mentioned, where doctors will be running all of their tests on the physical body and they can't find anything that would have caused the manifestation of whatever symptoms a person may be having. But when we do a holistic approach, a holistic deep dive, we can look into their history and see certain issues that have come up that cause digestive discomfort, that cause issues in other areas. And, aside from just the digestive health aspect of it, when you think about what the digestive system does and what the function of it is in our physical body, and you think about the connection with that mind and spirit connecting to the body, when you have waste accumulating and backing up in your physical self, that's a sign and a symptom of waste accumulating in your mind and waste accumulating in your spirit. So taking a holistic approach, you may do an enema for the physical aspect, or go get a colonic. For the mental aspect, you may do journaling and meditation. For the spiritual aspect, you may do a series of spiritual baths that help to break up that stagnant energy and get you flowing again spiritually. So there's a lot of different things that you can do, and there's a lot of ways that this approach is extremely beneficial. I decided to pull up the information on exactly what World Digestive Health Day is all about. And this is what I found. So it says World Digestive Health Day is celebrated every year on May 29th around the world. The holiday provides resources and tools for gastrointestinal diseases to help more people in the general public make better decisions about their health. Awareness can lead to the early diagnosis and treatment of GI diseases, including cancer. It should also be known that GI diseases can lead to obesity. It also creates more understanding and better support for patients experiencing digestive disease when their issues and conditions are better understood by the general public. World Digestive Health Day was officially established in 2004 to mark the 45th anniversary of the organization's founding. There are over 100 member societies and 50,000 individual members in the organization all over the world. Each year, a theme is selected by the World Gastroenterology Organization. This year's theme is colorectal cancer. Examples of previous themes include inflammatory bowel disease and viral hepatitis. So there is an entire national day that is committed to teaching people from the Western medicine perspective about digestive health. And we are here from the holistic perspective to give you more insight on how you can heal yourself, how you can address issues and disease of the digestive system without invasive surgical procedures or medications that may cause other issues, or even may mask the underlying condition and make it worse over time. So one question that I do have for you, Coach Latoya, because I'm going to go into my little spiel in a moment. What has been your experience over the years with just dealing with your own digestive health? And then when you had your daughter, did you notice that her digestive system flowed similar to yours, or did you have to kind of learn her body brand new and do different things for her?
That's a great question. I would say that for me, I never, in my earlier years, before I was on my health journey of being more intentional about what I ate, I never really paid close attention to my digestive health. I didn't really have major issues, outside of the ordinary of some, of course, because of the food that I ate, not being as regular, like just to be quite frank and honest, not being as regular as I am now, and are not understanding. And my daughter's in the background, so yeah, but just not being as regular and just not being just as aware of what was going on with my body when I used to eat certain things. But of course, as I began to eat more plant-based and just be more intentional about what I ate, I began to see a difference in being more regular, or just not getting as sick, or being more aware of what was going on, like being able to feel the difference when I ate certain things that, when I remember when I decided to eat ice cream after a few weeks of going, pretty much vegan, and then tried to eat, regular ice cream, and my body did not like that. And I'm one of those people that once I feel discomfort, I don't try to go back to it. So that's the big thing with me, is that I don't like discomfort. So that's enough for me to keep on my journey. But even going from cooked vegan to raw vegan, even just I became way more of an intuitive eater, just more in tune with what was going on with my body. I know a lot of people like to do the scientific aspects, but for me, what's worked is really just learning what works for me and what does not work for me, so that I can have fun eating or whatnot. And when I became pregnant, I was way better. I learned way more about nutrition, and I learned way more about what my body could handle and what it couldn't, because my body was more sensitive during pregnancy. So the things that I could get away with eating during pregnancy, I couldn't as much. And I realized that that's probably something I shouldn't really be eating on a regular basis anyway. Just perfect example is couscous is something that I love, but I can't have all the time. So that was something that I learned during pregnancy, because after pregnancy, I noticed that I would break out on my elbows when I had too much of it. So it was just, so those things like that just made me realize that, I can't, it's about balance, or it's about not eating as much as I used to be able to. And as far as my daughter, honestly, her gut, she's very, like, to me, her gut is the way, probably the closest to what it's supposed to do, honestly, because, I conceived her, while on a plant-based diet, raw, with her father. And then on top of that, had a pregnancy that was, completely raw. And then during the postpartum breastfeeding, I was eating raw. She was drinking breast milk the whole time. I was taking the supplements, everything that I was doing, everything, striving to do what I was supposed to do, that will make sure that she doesn't have to suffer from certain things such as allergies and all that. I wanted to ensure that she can enjoy food. So that was my intention, and that's my goal. And I see that she doesn't have any gut issues. She's very regular. all of those things. So that's the beauty of it. That's the importance of it. And I love the fact that my midwife really educated me about the foods to eat and what to feed her, like what to introduce her to, so that she doesn't have allergies, unnecessary allergies and stuff like that too. So yeah, that was the journey.
That is truly amazing. And thank you again for your share, Coach Latoya. I always love to hear about your journey, because it is multi-layered, multifaceted, and you can talk about so many different aspects of everything, just from the experiences that you have had and the investments that you have made in yourself over the years. So I definitely appreciate that. There's so many gems that you dropped. One of the things that you said was getting to know your body was one of the things that helped you to really get a better understanding of what exactly it meant to have a healthy digestive system. And I can definitely attest to that. I personally have had struggled for years and years with digestive issues from um, I can't even remember how far back. And I had a conversation with my mom a few months ago about my digestive health, and she made the comment that when I was a child, like a young child, that they had to take me to the doctor because I was having issues with my stomach, and they just said that I had a nervous stomach, and that's the official diagnosis that the doctor gave, and they didn't really tell us how to treat it, what was causing it, or any of those things. And I remember as I got older, it just became the norm that I didn't move my bowels regularly, and all of these other different things. And then after having my son, I started to have really bad indigestion, and they put me on Prevacid or whatever the over the counter thing is, and had me take that for a few days, and so on and so forth. And it was just all a series of try this. Okay, well, that's not really addressing the issue. Try that. That's not really addressing the issue. Even on my natural journey, I would try different things to help regulate me. Some of the things that did help regulate me was green drinks, whether that was using Queen Afua's Green Life formula, or just adding spirulina to my fruit or vegetable drink. That's one thing that really helped me get regular. Regular use of sea moss gel helped me stay regular, and also helped with my sleep patterns. But the biggest change that I noticed for myself was when we did our 21-day spring detox back in March. And along that, at that same time, excuse me, I had made the decision to do my own personal fast slash detox for my birthday. So Queen Afua writes that you should every year fast for the number of days of your years. So I turned 33 this year, so I did a 33-day fast, cleanse, detox. And one of the things that I did during that time was I gave up potato chips. And, that's not something that is a big issue for other people. But for me, Coach Shayola like put a pin in it one day. She was like, "Oh yeah, you were definitely addicted to potato chips." And it just struck me. And I sat with it for a while. Like I had to sit with it for like a day and a half, 2 days before I finally was like, "Oh, you are addicted to potato chips." I had gotten to a place where I would eat like a bag full of the Simply Ruffles. Like how big the bag of Simply Ruffles. Like, but by the time I got from the store to my house, that bag was gone. So I'd always get 2 bags. Like I never just got one. I always had to get like 2 or 4 bags because I wanted to be able to enjoy them later. So I would get my bag, I eat it on the way home. And then over throughout the course of the evening into the next day, I'm in the second bag, and I got just a little bit. I put me some on a napkin, and I still be eating them out of the bag. And I'm like, okay, this will be the last one out of the bag, and I'm gonna roll that up, and then I'm just gonna eat the ones I have on the napkin. It was bad. It was really bad, and I would do that like once or twice a week at least. And it was all stress related, because with the crunchy salty, that speaks to unresolved anger and things that you need to say that you haven't said and haven't expressed. So I found that it exacerbated my digestive health issues, but I didn't learn that until I took a step back and stopped eating the potato chips during my 33-year fast, or 33-day fast, and my 21-day emerald green detox. So some of the symptoms that I had were, of course, I wasn't moving my bowels regularly. I would have extreme tenderness, in the top of my abdomen, like right across where the transverse colon is, in that area. Every month on my menstrual cycle, I could not eat anything with tomatoes in it. Like tomatoes would tear me up. I'd be in so much pain, like the worst indigestion that you would ever experience in your life. Um, what else? I had my skin would just break out at random. Um, my scalp, I noticed that I would start getting, I'll say scales for lack of a better term. Like I just have calcified patches in the top of my head. Like I would reach up and scratch my head, and there's like a chunk of hard skin that comes out. And all of that was resolved by eliminating potato chips and focusing more on a whole foods plant-based diet, eliminating all other processed foods. So, no Beyond Meat, no anybody else version of whatever they had going on. Like I got back to my basics, making everything from scratch, doing all the things that I needed to do. And I'm eating ketchup on my menstrual cycle and having no pain at all. My scalp feels good, it's nice and clean. No pain in my abdomen, moving my bowels pretty regularly. And I'm still making sure that I do my enemas as I was doing on my detox, because that's just regular maintenance that I do now. Another piece that's really, really important about your digestive health is specifically in the colon. When your colon is clean and you're eating a whole foods plant-based diet and you're taking in your natural supplements, your body can actually absorb those things much easier and utilize them for the processes that it needs to. So for me, when I made that transition and I really got serious about not just being plant-based, but being a whole foods plant-based individual, it made all the difference in the world. And since February 26th, 2023, I have not had potato chips. And it has truly been like an amazing experience. And back to that addiction piece, I had committed to doing the 33 days. So from February 26th to March 31st, or excuse me, February 27th through March 31st, I said no chips. I had written down that date, and the detox ended on April 9th. And like April 10th, I had a dream. I was standing in the grocery store and I was standing at the end of the chip aisle, just looking down the chip aisle. And then like a few days later, I have another dream. And in this dream, I'm actually on the chip aisle and now I'm looking at chips. And then in the next dream, I've like picked the chips up off the shelf. I'm like, what in the world is going on? It is addiction. It is habitual addictions that we create within ourselves when it comes to our food. And we excuse it because, oh, it's just food. What's the harm that it's going to cause? Like, it's not going to do anything, but it does. Everything we put into our body makes a huge difference in the way that our bodies function. And I noticed with my son, he has some of the same digestive issues that I had. So I have to make sure that I'm on top of doing the things that I'm supposed to do for his health as well. And so with all that being said, Coach Latoya, what are some of the tips that you would say to someone who is considering entering to not even the raw side, if they did want to go raw, but into the plant-based side of things to help them make that transition and focus on their digestive health?
Yes, and I love that you brought up the chip thing, the chip aspect of it, because it's just I love it because you brought up the crunchy, and that is, that's the anger, because that's what I was thinking of. And also when you think of like your stomach area, that is your solar plexus, and that is your power source, and that's also also related to the anger piece also. So that's really deep, so it's not just about the physical aspect, it's also about the spiritual or mental aspect of it, and how our body houses things, right? How body houses things, it's literally in our, it's just in there, energetically in there. So sometimes but it expressed, of course, through the food, and you're eating it and you feel it or whatnot. But as far as tips, so that people can focus more so on the digestive aspect, I would say, be very gradual with it. I'll always say that, and to maybe find a healthier alternative to something, or, things that it still may have a little crunch, but, it's not, it's not potato chips, because I also think about that's probably a drying effect, because you mentioned some symptoms that cause dryness, so definitely I would recommend, even if you like kale chips, maybe beet
Yes.
chips, like there's the okra chips, seaweed, that those kind of things can kind of help against that crunch effect, but it's more healthier. So I would say look for different alternatives, create your own, that's
Mhm.
another alternative. Like, get in the kitchen, have a little fun with it, and sometimes it's really just about, like, it's a mental thing. So it's really, as you mentioned, you wrote down exactly what you were going to do. So that is extremely, extremely important, to like write an intention down, write a goal down, write a vision down, because you'll find that energetically things kind of work out as long as you're taking the action steps to do something, So that's the basic thing is, just to have a clear vision, have a clear intention, be gradual with it, and find different alternatives. It may not be exactly the same, but still it's healthier, and it's something that actually tastes good too, something that you actually enjoy
Mhm.
eating. Don't just be eating it just because,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah.
Thank you so much for that. Like, I love everything that you said. But the one thing that really stuck out to me was that mindset piece. Like, it really, truly is a mindset piece. Once you are paying attention to your body and you know certain things trigger negative reactions within your body, then you can take action, and you have to make the decision, which mindset, everything starts in the mind. You have to make the decision to go down that path and make those changes. um, it takes a level of commitment that we are all capable of. We are all capable of. We're reading The Greatest Salesman, and one of the things that we learned in The Greatest Salesman is that um, it takes a good habit, or excuse me, it takes a new habit to subdue an old habit. Everything that we do, whether we are consciously committed to it or just habitually committed to it, we've committed to. So we all have the capacity to commit to whatever decisions that we make. It's just shifting that mindset and having the desire to really shift whatever that thing is. And if you have been watching our broadcast with us thus far, whether you are watching live or on the replay with us, we absolutely welcome you to come and get support, whether you need support with the mindset piece or you need support with making the transition and knowing what foods to eat and what things to look for. Definitely reach out. We've got some amazing, amazing, amazing coaches within the Emerald Green Collective. We all have different strengths and resources that we bring into the business. So definitely tap in. And I think we've got another coach that joined us. Let me see. Coach Lorraine, did you want to come in? We are chatting a little bit about digestive health. So did you want to come in and share anything with the people about that subject?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yes, sure. I can't get on camera though because I'm driving.
That's all right.
Probably shouldn't be driving and broadcasting, but I'm gonna break just a small rule because I
No.
wanted to be here with you guys today. Um, I'm not sure what you guys have been discussing already, but really, for me, it's just the importance of it. How the gut is the foundation of where lots of illness starts, and so I think it's super important that we are very cognizant of what we're putting in our body and making sure that we're releasing very regularly so that all of the bad stuff is coming out while maintaining, the good stuff. But I love that we made this as a focus since we have World Digestive Health coming up on the 29th. And I just think that, for us to bring more light to it is just super important, and for people to just have that understanding. So have you guys talked about like food pairings? What did I miss? I know I'm late.
No worries, no worries. Coach Latoya did touch on food pairings, but if that's something that you want to add to the mix, go ahead and throw it on in there, ma'am.
No, I just, what I feel like, so since I've been on this journey and learning all of the things, right, because there's so much, but I just feel so slighted that we have been miseducated from day one, even when it comes to that food pyramid that, they threw in our face from since
Yeah.
school, early childhood days. And we're telling us, oh yeah, you got to have the dairy, and, you should be eating this and this many protein, like all the things, and for it to be absolutely incorrect. And that our bodies have been operating off of those pyramids for decades, and now we're at a point where it's like, okay, we're learning that not only are those proportions incorrect, or we're not supposed to be eating dairy, that actually does a disservice to your entire body, but like also understanding that like all foods weren't made to be eaten together, and
Mm-hmm.
that whatchamacallit, that you probably shouldn't have even more than 3 different types of foods when you're having a meal, or even eating, what's your word, Latoya? I always forget it. What is
Yes,
it?
monomeal.
Monomeal. That's probably the way people need to be going anyway, like, and it's just like, there's just so much still misinformation. I know they updated that food pyramid some years ago, and now they have like the My Plate, which shows different proportions and kind of has dairy off to the side now, which is good. It's an improvement. It's better, but it's still not accurate as far as like what our bodies really need. And so I just think that there needs to be a lot more awareness brought to, and it's a lot. Like, I feel like, oh my goodness, I have to keep stuff on my refrigerator, like notes, so that when I'm in the kitchen preparing things, I'm like, okay, don't, mix, citric fruits with, this other type of fruit, and I've been making smoothies thinking I'm doing the right thing for all these years, putting kale with, the strawberries. And they're like, no, ma'am, we're not supposed to be mixing fruits and vegetables. And even not all the fruits should be mixed together. And so, and all of that affects our, can either contribute towards a better digestion or, mess up our digestion altogether. And so, yeah, I'm sorry. I do get a little bit upset about it, because I'm like, why have y'all been trying to kill us from day one? I just don't understand. Like, what did I do that, this is what you wanted to do to all of us? Like, it's just crazy. But that's all I had to say about that.
Well, we thank you for that share for sure. But listen, that's a whole conspiracy theory conversation right there. Like, why the man always trying to poison the people? We can go down that rabbit hole another time.
Yes, because it's definitely the case, though. Like, it's not a
Mhm.
conspiracy. It is straight facts. I think I was reading something the other day where they had to recall, I think it was strawberries, a bunch of different strawberries, because people were getting infected with hepatitis. I'm like, how the fruit got hepatitis? Like, make it make sense. I'm like, if that couldn't be more blatant evidence of like, we're definitely taking you out, and we know everybody has to eat, so this is the easiest way to do it, like, it's ridiculous. But okay, I digress.
That's always a question I have too, though. And Coach Latoya, I'm gonna tag you in one more time because thank you very much, Coach Lorraine. That food pairing piece is extremely important. And Coach Latoya has this food pairing chart, and every time she shares it, I'm like, let me study this. Let me let you take the floor. Tell us about your food pairing.
Just go ahead and drop that in the chat, please, Latoya.
Yes, this is the food. I've had this for years, as you can see, it's going through some things, but I have other ones too, but I always go back to the original one that I have. But yeah, this is like I really love this because it pretty much just showcases all of the um, proper food combining and what you shouldn't combine. And they have the fruit on one side, and then you have the vegetables on the other one. And I always love to look at the ones with the fruits because I find that that's one thing that's commonly people tend to mix just fruits together, period, or whatever. Now, I will admit, I do food combinations that are not the best, but I'm aware that I'm doing it, and I'm always prepared to think of like, okay, if there's a chance that this may happen, so I always keep that in mind. But one of the biggest things, like on this chart, it showcases here a little bit the subacidic fruits, and that it's not best to mix melons with anything. All the melons right there, and I personally don't think you should even watermelon should be just completely by itself. Me personally, just the way that my body acts towards it. You know, I know it may be tempting to eat some fruit or eat some melon with watermelon with some other fruit, but me personally, I get very bloated if I don't give it time to digest. That's me personally. And then of course you have the sweet fruits. It's not good to mix it with the with the acid fruits or whatnot. And but it's okay the sub acid fruits with the acid fruits. That makes sense or whatnot. And sweet fruits and sub acid fruits are okay. And then on this side, you have this is more so with the starch vegetables. Then you have this, they're good with the starches. And then you have the protein and starches are not best together. And then you have the starch vegetables are good with the protein. And then you have the fats and the oils. They're pretty much by themselves or whatnot. And they have like little notes in there or whatnot. I have a lot. I know I found these type of things at like the holistic shops and stuff like that. Or I remember finding this again in Atlanta at I believe it's 5 Points, like that long strip. I think that's what it's called. Long strip of shops and stuff like that. I found this again in a metaphysical shop. So I have more of them, but I don't know where they're at. They're somewhere in the house. But you can always find a food combination chart online or whatnot just to get familiar about what is best to mix. And I don't eat I don't eat flesh, I mean. So I'm curious to even know, like, because I don't really maybe I should do a research on that. Like what is best for people who want to eat healthier but still eat, flesh. Like what is the best thing to eat or how much to eat it, as far as combinations with those kind of things. So that's pretty much it with the food combination chart.
See, we just have all kinds of amazing people within this collective. We are dynamic in that all of us bring our own unique perspective to the table. We all bring our own unique knowledge to the table. And it is so refreshing to just sit and learn from each other and have those powwows and engage in just the work of healing. Before we bring it to a close, because we have gone a bit over our time because we all got excited. I got excited and talked a little bit too long. But was there anything else that you wanted to add, Coach Lorraine or Coach Latoya, before we shut it down and close out for the day?
No, just that I give thanks for the space. And yes, I second that we are a dynamic group of individuals who definitely have different perspectives to offer. As far as like health and wellness is concerned, for sure. And, Shantae and I are taking it a step further and getting our national board certification for health and wellness. So, yes, we will be certified, which, some people care about,
Yeah.
If you don't, that's fine too. But yeah, I just think that I'm just happy that we do have this space, that we have these conversations, that we're putting it out there, even if, there's not a huge crowd of people listening to us right now. Even for us, it's great for me, to be in on these conversations and to continue. my growth and development in this area. So I give thanks to all of you in the collective. And sorry I was late. I've got a little stuff happening right now, but I'm glad I made it.
We ain't gonna hold it against you. You enjoy yourself. And like I said, we are a dynamic group. If you are interested in getting any more information about what we do, how we collaborate and work together, what we do individually, go ahead and visit us online at the emeraldgreencollective.com. Again, that is the emeraldgreencollective.com. And we look forward to working with you then. All right, outro time. Let's see if it works.